Hello and welcome to this virtual Patrón Masterclass. My name's Joey Chisholm. I'm the National Patrón Brand Ambassador for Bacardi Martini Australia. And today I'm going to show you 3 simple ways to enjoy Patrón tequila. In this masterclass, we're going to go through the history of tequila, the production method at Patrón, and our wonderful aging process. We'll also be making 2 of my favorite Patrón cocktails. A few things you'll need for this masterclass: you need a cocktail shaker, some fresh lime, some ice, and your favorite cocktail glasses. So, what are you waiting for? Let's open up this box and let's enjoy some Patrón tequila. Mexico's connection to agave goes back thousands of years. The Aztecs revered the agave plant as a god and personified this through Maya Hule, the goddess of fertility. Maya Hule was often depicted with having many breasts to feed her many children. The Aztecs produced a ceremonial wine for Maya Hule from the agave nectar called pulque. Pulque was the first form of tequila as we know it today. When the Spanish arrived in the 15th century, they brought their modern distillation and modern techniques. The Spaniards were used to drinking things like port and sherry, and they weren't too keen on the pulque. So using their modern techniques and modern distillation, they found out they could distill the pulque to produce an agave wine. As the family started to distill their own liquid, the town of Tequila started becoming famous for its unique style of agave wine. The major reason for this was because the blue-ribbon agave was growing in an abundance. The word tequila was then used to describe the agave wine coming from that town, and thus tequila was born. The best way to showcase a tequila is through a Tommy's margarita. So let's flip over our page to our recipe site and let's make a Tommy's. You'll need your cocktail shaker, and let's get cracking. Starting off, we need 50 ml of Patrón Silver, straight in. We now need 25 ml of fresh lime juice. And we're going to have some sweetness from the agave nectar, just 15 ml. Before we get to shaking, we need to garnish our cocktail glass. We're going to garnish with a classic garnish of salt. So get some citrus, rub that on the side of your glass just like this, and then sprinkle some beautiful flaky sea salt. Now it's time for the fun bit. Let's get shaking. We'll strain this into our cocktail glass. Fill it with ice and give it a garnish as well. Just a beautiful wedge of fresh lime. There we have it, guys. Tommy's Margarita, the classic way to enjoy Patrón Silver. So we're now going to flip over the recipe card to the tasting mat side and have a look through Patrón Reposado. We're also going to make one of my favorite cocktails, the Patrón Paloma. This variation is so simple, and thanks to our friends at Fever Tree, it's now even easier to make. You just need 3 key ingredients: Patrón Reposado, Fever Tree grapefruit soda, and some salt for garnish. But before we get into making this cocktail, let's talk about what makes Patrón the best quality, handcrafted, artisanal tequila. We actually make 2 styles of tequila, but it all starts with Blue Weber agave. We partner with 8 local farming families to produce agave exclusively for us. These farms have some of the highest quality agave growing in them, so it's the perfect starting point for our tequila. Once the tequila is harvested, we then cook the agave in clay brick ovens for over 3 days. By cooking this nice and low and slow, we're transforming the inulin which naturally occurs in agave and transforming that into a fermentable sugar. Once the agave is cooked, this is where the process splits into 2. We create an old world technique using the Tahona wheel process and a more modernized version using a roller mill. The traditional method calls for a Tahona wheel, which is a large volcanic rock used to pulverize and crush the piña to release the flavor. We then take that crushed piña, fibers and all, and we ferment that all together. Once it's been fermented and the alcohol content's reached, it's now time to distill, where we distill twice in copper pot stills. For the more modernized version, we use a roller mill, which is a large conveyor belt that separates the fibers from the juice. In this process, we just capture the juice, and that creates that beautiful citrus forward and peppery spicy note that you get recognized with tequila. Now, once we get the distillation process, we then go to aging. But before we get into aging, let's make this delicious Paloma. You'll need to start off by garnishing your favorite cocktail glass. Same as before, get some citrus, rub that along the side of the glass like this, and sprinkle some of that sea salt on the side. Now, as I said before, this cocktail is so simple to make. Just needs 3 ingredients. We're going to start by putting in our Patrón Reposado. 50 mils straight in. The next step is a Fever Tree grapefruit soda. Let's fill this up to halfway. Let's fill this with ice and then top it up with more soda. Now it's time to give it a beautiful garnish of wedge of grapefruit. And there you have it. The most simple but most delicious cocktail that you can consume at any time of day. Cheers, the Patrón Paloma. So our production hasn't changed since the day we started. We haven't changed our processes as we grew as a company. We maintained our traditional process when others looked to more modern techniques. Everything we do at Patrón is done by hand. Everything from harvesting the piñas to the hand-blown glass bottles today. There are over 60 hands used in production of Patrón, so we can truly say that we are a handcrafted artisanal tequila. So let's look at our aging process and let's look at Patrón Añejo. When we talk about aging, we talk about resting it in oak barrels. Reposado means rested, and Añejo means age. We rest our Reposado in oak barrels for 3 to 5 months, and our Añejo for 12 to 15 months. The 5 different barrels that we use in our aging process are a French Alliot white oak, a French Limousin white oak, a Hungarian white oak, American bourbon barrels, and a hybrid Limousin and American bourbon barrel mixture. Now these create a very complex but quite unique aging experience for our agave. We want to maintain the trueness of the agave plant from the get-go, so we don't want to overage our product to relieve that flavor and to lose that flavor throughout the process. Let's have a taste of the Añejo and let's talk through the flavors we pick up. I'm going to pour mine into the delicious little Glencairn glass here, and I'm going to have a little sip through this process. If you haven't tasted alcohol before and you're used to just doing shots of tequila, I'll show you a few techniques to get that maximize the flavor on your palate. The first technique is to put your nose into the glass and open your mouth at the same time. What we're doing here is we're breathing in nice and light and nice and gently and allowing the flavors in the back of our palate and onto our tongue to taste more of the tequila. I don't know about you, but I can already smell some really beautiful light aromas of that caramelized agave. The addition of oak brings those beautiful vanilla flavors and those beautiful dried fruit notes through. Think of this as like a whiskey. We're not trying to shot this back, we're trying to sip and enjoy and create that flavor. When it's time for you guys to sip, put this on your tongue, roll it back and forth, and let your saliva dilute that slightly, and then you'll be able to swallow and enjoy. Such a smooth, such a delicious flavor. It's got those beautiful tannins from the oak with a beautiful light citrus coming through from the agave plant. I will leave you with the smooth taste of Patrón Añejo as we conclude this masterclass. I want to thank you for listening, and I hope that I've inspired you to create Patrón cocktails at home. My name's Joseph Chisholm, and thank you for listening.